Um, and I'm just glad to be here, y'all, quite honestly.
I'm happy you're here. I'm happy you're here. It's always good to talk to authors and hear y'all point of view about everything because we always get the reader's point of view. We never get y'all point of view. So,
hmm
what made you want to start writing in the first
hmm
place? How long have you been writing?
9.5 years. Well, actually, published 9.5 years. I've been writing though since I was a teenager.
Mm,
Um, just kind of writing little small stories here and there, just to kind of send them out to friends, saying, "Hey, do you like this? What do you think?" And a lot of people were just kind of encouraging me to send it out to a couple publishers, and it took me a minute to do that. Then my father passed, and I said, you know what? He wasn't able to see me as a published author, so let me do this for him. So,
okay.
yep.
So, what made you want to go into the thriller suspense aspect of it with this last book?
So I've always told myself that I can write anything, with the exception of sci-fi and a nonfiction book. But other than that, though, I can write anything. So, had been reading a couple horror stories. I love Octavia Grant. Um, and Samara Alexander. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna try and see. I'm gonna just give it a go, see what happens. If people receive it, they receive it. If they don't, I tried,
Yeah,
and it kind of went from there.
she was insane.
So
But and then you had the Zaddy series. What was the reason behind? Not that I'm knocking it because everybody need a Zaddy, but what was the
um,
mindset behind writing the Zaddy series?
so the authors that I wrote the freestyle cipher with, Kaylin, Renee, um, Dash, Lysandra, pretty much everyone that I wrote the cipher with said, you know what, we're still all in a group chat. So somebody suggested that we put out a Zaddy book. Actually, Renee does covers, so she
Mhm.
posted a cover in our group chat, and I said, oh, who wrote the Sugar Daddy book? So and it just kind of snowballed from there. So we all just kind of got together and said, you know what, we should probably write that. um we got together, we kind of came up with character profiles,
Mhm.
and we just all just kind of released it more. It was supposed to release like a series, you know how like with Grey's Anatomy. I was thinking along the lines of Grey's Anatomy, how like every week you get a different series and it's a different storyline. So that was my suggestion that we do, was all the zaddies, they're all connected, but they all have a different storyline.
Mm.
So that's where that concept came from.
Now, what is your idea of a book bag? Because you jump from you go from erotica to, I ain't even gonna say contemporary because I'm sorry if any of your writing was contemporary, I ain't seen it. You nasty. You either
Um,
nasty or they crazy.
I so I do have a series though that does have a book bay that everyone just kind of fell in love with when I dropped the book, and that was the Trap God series.
Mm.
So me personally, I like a alpha male. I mean, if he's alpha, I'm all for him. I want to read his story. I want to see his face. I want to have his kids. Um, so that's my idea of book bay. I
Yeah.
haven't written one in a long time though. I can't admit to that.
So, what is your ideals of being a Black author in the literary world as it stands right now? What do you feel should be happening, or hopeful of things that could happen?
um, I can honestly say that when I came into the literary world nine and a half years ago, it was a lot of clicks basically. So it's like if you were under this publisher, these are whose books you shared.
Mhm.
These are who you basically piped up to. Your to your mailing list, and then once a lot of those bigger publishers just kind of decided to go in another direction.
Mm-hmm.
You saw a lot more of those authors that were just kind of, being able to just kind of share, and it was more of a, everyone, just kind of look out for your fellow author, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you still see some of that somewhat with some of the publishers, but I mean, it's a lot of authors that are, getting groups and, share a good book in our group. I mean, so I think that we've changed some, but there's still a long way to go because
Yeah.
there's a mindset that the newer authors coming into the industry still have, where it's I can only share books from my publisher because if I don't, I'm going to get in trouble. This, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's just kind of being able to kind of branch out and find those independent authors, those ones that are kind of, you know, inclusive of everyone as opposed to the certain few. And I
Yeah.
mean, I think that we've made some progress, but we still have a ways to go.
Okay. Now, what do you want to see as far as for the younger authors? You mentioned there's still that little hesitancy about branching out on their own type deal. What would be your advice as someone who is a veteran who's been in here for 9 years?
Mhm.
What would be your advice to newer authors that are coming in and to authors who say, I'm too old to be doing this and I just feel like, they won't accept my brand of romance or my brand of thriller?
Mhm. I say a lot of times that there's a book that's there's a book that's out there for everyone. When you just kind of look at the industry as less of, oh, this is my social media following. While social media does play a huge role in it,
Mm-hmm.
you still have people that are pretty much all over the world that are reading.
Right.
So when you look at it from that perspective, how do you get to that reader base? I mean, where this brand of thriller may not be something that your readers may identify with, but that's not necessarily to say that no readers will identify with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's more so just kind of stepping outside of that box that we've kind of created for ourselves, stepping outside of our comfort zone
Mm-hmm.
and promoting our work to pretty much more so on a global scale as opposed to on a national scale. So it's not necessarily just all your readers are in the US. I mean, I get readers from London, I get readers from Japan, I get readers from pretty much all over the world. I mean, India, and you can see it when you get your royalty statement, who all downloaded your book.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, just when you write, when as you're creating that book, think of it more so as your reader base is global. They're not necessarily just your Facebook friends. They're not just who follows you on TikTok. It's not just people who are in the area for you that you can go to the book event for. It's global. So how do you reach that? How do you reach that reader that's over in Japan? How do you reach the reader in France? Write a story for them
Mm.
and just kind of go from there.
So, how do you feel about readers that are now mobilizing and taking their independent businesses to help the independent authors by forming businesses that is centered around you guys? How do you feel about that movement?
I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome because a lot of times what I hear, and I haven't been to a book event since shoot, I want to say before COVID, but oftentimes what I hear when I go to book events or when I do the book fairs, it's
Mm-hmm.
usually I haven't heard of your book, or a friend of mine reads your work, but they I haven't, I may have borrowed your book from a friend, and I want to read more of your work, in which that's awesome. But oftentimes, it's how do you reach that reader? How do you reach that next person? How do you become that next person's favorite author? And
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes it has to be kind of that independent, just kind of going out to the streets and being able to talk to people, tell them about your work, what you've done, and things of that nature in order for you to be able to create that new follower for you.
Now, how do you feel about the readers that are really playing a pivotal role in like the social media aspect of it? as
Mhm.
far as the virtual book clubs, the just homegirls and homeboys coming together. They're not even book clubs, but they're interested in a particular author, and they're just highlighting you guys on social media. So how does social media play such a big role nowadays in marketing?
I think with TikTok, TikTok plays a huge role in marketing, as opposed to, if I can kind of go back to when I first came into the industry, it was more so that we marketed on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, So with TikTok, being able to, create those videos, and, one person falls in love with your book, they tell one person, they tell somebody, and then now you've got like a whole virtual book club, like you stated, that's pretty much just kind of almost like your street team. I think
Mm,
it's awesome, but also I think it can kind of alienate those authors who don't have that same following.
mm,
So where they may, where you've got one author that's, everyone's talking about their book, but then now you've got a same author who writes along that same vein, and they're still trying to, just kind of get their book out there. So it's kind of like a gift and a curse, if you will.
mm. So how do you fight against being stagnant in your writing so that you don't give up on yourself?
As an author, I can speak for myself.
Mm.
Um, there's been over 9 years. I want to say I've threatened to quit about 2,987 times. But I mean, because sometimes, you'll put that book out there and it doesn't do the numbers that you think that it would, because of course you think it's a great book because you wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
But the reading public might not. So
Mm.
sometimes you're just like, you know what, that book didn't do what I thought it would. Even after I did, a 3 book series, I'm just gonna go ahead and just call it a day. Um, and then you get that one person that inboxes you and just says, you know what, I really enjoyed this book, and it's always a book that you wrote 3 years ago. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this book. I want to read more of your work, and you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go one more time. So sometimes it just kind of takes that one person that just kind of hops in your inbox, and they're just like, hey, I loved Chi-Town's Queen. And I'm thinking like, oh, I wrote that. That was my first book. So sometimes it's just kind of going back through your reviews, and all of your reviews aren't going to be positive, but sometimes it's just going back and looking at your 5-star reviews. Sometimes somebody will hop in your DM. Sometimes somebody will just post on one of your book posts, hey, I love this book, I love this series, I want to see more from you. And that
Mm.
just kind of gives you the, that little push that you need to keep going. So
Speaking of reviews, how do you keep your mind mentally? Because I've seen a lot of authors who will allow a 1 star review that it may be just two or three of them, but they'll let that 1 star review and crumble them mentally. How do
I've
you
been
keep
there.
how do you keep yourself from crumbling mentally from those 1 or 2 star reviews that are not even constructive criticism? They're outright cruel. How do you keep yourself from not believing what they're saying and focus on what you're doing?
Sometimes it's just kind of you're reading over that 1-star review. And for me personally, it's kind of did you read the book that I wrote, or did you read something else, or did you infer that there was something that wasn't there? And I'm just going back and I'm reading the book like, maybe I need to go back and redo this. And I'm like, no, it makes sense as written.
Yeah.
So sometimes those can get you down. And I know for me, it's been times where I've just kind of sat down with myself and said, you know what, I ain't writing no more. Forget them people. And then I just, and then it's kind of like I'll come back to whatever I'm working on and say the same thing. You know what? Forget them people. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this story. So it's
It's like the
it's,
the the
it's
good
like
and
it's
bad
a
pep
mind
talk.
trick, right? It's a
Get it.
mind trick. So
So okay. So how do you motivate yourself in a world where social media is a thing now? It's a thing compared to what it was back when it was Eric Jerome Dickey, Sister
mhm,
Soldier, Toni Morrison, Zora Neale Hurston. Before it
mhm,
was before Octavia Butler, there was no social media like that.
right,
So
right.
how do you deal with the ups and downs of social media? Because as much as social media is good for marketing authors, especially indie authors, it can
Mhm.
also be a crutch and a hindrance. So how
It
do you
can.
deal with that?
Sometimes you have to decompress. Sometimes it's about just logging off
Hmm.
and taking some time to go out and smell the air and touch some grass.
Hmm.
Um, because sometimes where social media is like, it's huge. Everyone's on social media, everyone's sharing what's going on in their lives. You're reading all these different stories, and it can become cumbersome,
Hmm.
especially on your thoughts. It can be cumbersome, it can be draining. So sometimes you really just have to log off and just kind of give yourself some time, maybe a day, maybe a week. um, Me personally, I have to often take those types of kind of just logging off and just kind of take that time away from social media.
Hmm.
Just because I know for me, I'm very emotional. I'm an empath, so
Hmm.
like a lot of negativity being thrown at me at the same time will drain me. So I
Hmm.
just have to, I may go on and peek and see if there's something going on, but for the most part, though, I try to stay off of social media as much as possible unless I have like a book that's dropping, or sometimes I can stand it, but there's just so much stuff that's going on in the world that you want to just kind of be able to stay focused. Social
Yeah.
media is very much a time waster. Um, Unfortunately, you can very easily go down a rabbit hole on social media and
Yeah.
then look up and it's 5 hours later. So I have to kind of stay off of it as much as possible, just to be able to keep my sanity.
That's true. Deja, yes, a lot of people are very well on the internet. But
Hmm.
even me
Very
as a
true.
reader, a podcaster, and a reviewer, I had to learn that I can't confront everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Some people don't deserve
Right.
my way of talking to them.
Right.
Some people don't deserve my attention because that's what they're doing. They're trying to get my attention.
Hmm.
So a lot of times on the internet, when it comes to independent authors, when it comes to us as reviewers and all that stuff, even book event people, people will say fucked up shit to us just to get a rise out of us so they
Yes.
can get attention.
Yes.
Everything is a like, click, and bait for a
Yes.
troll, you know.
Yes.
And
Definitely.
unfortunately for indie authors, that can be a very bad hindrance for them when they are talking back to them, because the back
Hmm.
and forth will cause negativity instead of the positivity to their work. It turns into, oh, she like arguing with people. Ooh,
Right.
she need to stay out
Right.
of Rita's faces,
Right.
and they never see the bigger picture because they only get one point of view.
Hmm.
So it's very hard, and I understand it now. After doing interviews with y'all and being a part of all this craziness, I understand that people do things to get a rise out of you
They
so
do.
they can make you look crazy
They do.
when they play the victim.
They do. And like I said, it's just so draining
Mhm.
to the point that oh my goodness, I just can't.
It is draining, and I for one believe that um this the internet and doing all this stuff, it had caused me to lose focus because I was so ingrained into all this pettiness and didn't realize I was in the midst of all this pettiness. Sometimes and I excuse my language because I cuss a lot on here.
You're fine.
Um, it's sometimes a real motherfucker like me that is like hood but intelligent as hell. They don't
Hmm.
understand. I will roll up on your ass.
Period. I don't
I
listen.
will roll up so fast on your ass, it'll make your head spin. I've done
Oh.
did it for people on this internet. So I had to learn to fight, pick and choose my battles.
Hmm.
Nobody on this internet is worth that battle
Hmm.
because you're bringing demons in me that I don't want to come out no more because I'm past that.
Cause
My
we didn't tuck them folks and we didn't woosah them demons on. Because like me, the first thing I say is, look, you do not know me for real. You
For
know the
real.
social media me.
For
The
real.
real me can get your address in
I
10
gets
minutes.
down. I gets down.
I will hop
So
a flight. Like seriously, let me excuse myself off. That's the first thing
I
I'll say.
but people don't understand. They'll look at your age, they'll look at you, but they gotta understand you had lives before internet.
Thank you.
You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
I still gets down in my 40s. I still gets down.
Thank you.
If you want
Thank
that,
you.
if you want that person, it will come out. You know what I'm saying? But I would advise against it because old school me is not like y'all new school people.
Listen,
What
I say
y'all
the
do,
same thing.
yeah, what y'all do is not like how old school me is. Okay, so be blessed and be merry and go about your motherfucking way.
Period. Period.
But Lord, sometimes these people be.
Oh.
But let me ask you this. Now
Hmm.
back to your books.
Okay.
You have such a versatile catalog,
Hmm.
and but you love the nastiness. You, you love that nasty. I don't give a damn if it's
Oh.
horror, thriller, somebody getting a sloppy top and getting munched on. It don't matter. But why is it
Oh.
that you embrace the love and the sensuality and sexuality of black people in your books?
I like to keep my stories as relatable as possible.
Mm-hmm.
People have sex.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just boring sex. It's not just he put his cock in her flowery bud or something like
I
that.
hate that
I
word.
mean,
I
like,
hate that word so fuck. I ain't never hate a word more in my life. I hate the word cock. I hate it.
oh, but I try to. I mean, so it's like people have sex, and when they have sex, they have it in multiple different positions,
Mm-hmm.
multiple ways, and some people just like getting topped off.
Hey, hey. But it's
Some
the
people
way
like to
you write
give, some people like to receive. So,
and that's what I was getting at. The way you write it, it's not selfish, but it's given. It's given. So with your men, you also put in there that they are these hard men, but they are soft for their women,
mhm.
and that women are the ones really are in control, not them. So why is it important to showcase that even though these men will go hard behind these women, these black men will go hard, I mean go hard. But they are soft when it comes to their relationships and understanding their women.
Because that's real talk.
Mm.
You know, I was married. My husband unfortunately passed away.
Sorry to hear
But
that.
and the men that I've seen in my lifetime, they're alpha males. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, though, when it comes to my sister-in-laws,
Mm-hmm.
when it came to me myself, it was always, baby, you okay? Do you need anything? What can I do for you? I was always catered to.
Mm-hmm.
My brothers, they cater to their spouses. My uncles, they cater to my aunts. That's what I was accustomed to seeing. So I mean, I when I read these books where it's just like the woman is kind of crazy over the guy and this, that, and the third, she's doing all sorts of stuff, and I'm just like, I can't relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
I know it happens. Don't get me wrong. I'm not negating that it happens, but me personally, I just can't relate. I was always taught that a man is supposed to cater to the woman. He's supposed to move mountains for her. He's supposed to make sure that she's okay. There should never be a point where she's worried that a bill's not going to get paid, or she's worried that it's not going to be food on the table. I've always been seeing men that are the make sure the kids eat, make sure that you eat before I do. The man eats last. Anything else, I'm just not used to. I've read it in books, but I'm just not used to it.
I'm
So,
so happy you said it. I just want to emphasize that. Y'all bitches out here that's out here talking about the man got to eat before the kids. What is wrong with y'all?
listen, the men I know will cuss cuss you out.
My kids will get fed before anyone.
Period.
The fuck?
Period. That's
So
always been in my family. I've always seen that. It's always been that way. That's how my mom was with my dad. That's how my brothers were with my nieces and nephews. That's how my uncles were with my cousins. I've never seen a man eats first and then the kids eat because he bought the food. No, we don't do that. I mean, if
I
y'all do it, that's fine. But
nah. If they do it, I'm gonna need you to blink twice. Do you need help?
thank you.
Do you need help? I'm just saying.
Oh.
Anyone asking the questions have never experienced it. Mm-mm. So let me ask you this. Now
Mhm.
we talked about the men. Let's talk about the women.
Okay.
The women have their own personalities. It's not based off of their relationships. It's not based off of the men. They came in the door with their own personalities, and they're usually growth within the relationship and themselves. So
Hmm.
why is it important showcasing these women really showing growth within themselves and helping people understand that sometimes you start off in bad places, but you wind up in good places through growth?
Because even the strongest women that we know have the opportunity to grow
Mm-hmm.
in some way, shape, or form or fashion. So that's what I want people to see when they read a book from me. It may be an urban book, but this is the type of dynamic that relationship has, where the woman, she may have needed some help, and the man came in and he helped her.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe she already had her own. She can already come in and stand on her own 2 feet, but
Yeah.
it was something that she was missing emotionally, that the man came in and he was able to help her to see that. It was about the partnership, being able to showcase that partnership between the two, as opposed to her needing a man for this reason. You can put them both together and they both grow, as opposed to he swooped in and saved the day.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's what I've always seen from relationships. So that's what I wanted to showcase.
That's how you do it, even with the crazy ones.
Yep.
Even with y'all, even with her crazy books and them heifers or males crazy, there's always growth. There's always growth and love. Some way it may not be the way you think it is, but it's
Mhm.
love and it's growth. Now, where do you go from here? You have, like I said, you have an extensive catalog, and where do you go from? What's next for you? What is next for Fatima?
Mrs. Claus' book did so well. I got so many inboxes and DMs, and oh my gosh, Mrs. Claus is crazy.
Wait till
I
you see
said, you
my
know
review.
what? So I had initially started working on a completely different storyline. I was working on a billionaire book, and I said, you know what? I probably need to write a follow up to Mrs. Claus. Um, I knew that I was going to come with something from for Saint Valentine, because she was in that story as well. So I knew that was coming, but now I'm working on Santa Claus, and then after that I'll do Saint Valentine's, and then I'll release the billionaire book I was working on.
Oh, yo, that book just tickled my crazy. I just loved it so fucking much. It just tickled my crazy. I was
Oh.
just like, ooh, I love her. Oh, like I love
Oh.
her. So
And
what
it
else?
is it's funny because a lot of times we say that our characters write the story.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I when I sat down to write that story, it was supposed to go a completely different way, and that's how it ended up. So I said, okay, well, and I held on to it for probably about a week after I got it back from the editor, because I said, I don't think people are going to think that Miss Claus is a serial killer. They're probably thinking that there's going to be a romance book. I I was a little hesitant about releasing it, so I said, you know what, I'm just going to drop it in and see what it
Oh,
says.
bromance. Girl. Now,
Yep.
if that's what they took from that, okay.
What that was initially, because the cover, a lot of people said that the cover gave romance, so they thought it was a romance. So I'm like, okay.
But at the bottom, it says, you know what?
It does say.
Whatever. Okay. I, okay, I guess. But okay, so we're gonna get some more craziness. I'm all for that. So you said you haven't been to a book signing since COVID.
Since before
Since
COVID.
before
The
COVID.
last book signing I did was the Kickback in Atlanta. I want to say in 2019.
So 2025.
I will be in Oklahoma in 2025, though.
She gonna be at the Boozy Book Tour and
Yes, yes, I will be there.
I can't wait to meet you in person.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about it.
I
Um,
am too. I am really excited about Tulsa. I've been excited about all the events, but I'm excited about Tulsa because it's the end of our first year run
mhm,
before we start the second phase of it. But so
mhm.
it's just like, yeah.
See, y'all might see me. Y'all might see me in Raleigh too. I'm still trying to figure out my schedule for next year. But
Don't get me hyped up. Don't get me
I'm
hyped up.
still trying to figure out my schedule for next year. But I might be in Raleigh too. I'm still trying to
Well, you're gonna have
make
ample.
that.
This is the last year in 2025. We're doing so many. From after 2025, it's only gonna be three a year.
Oh,
Yep, three
yeah.
a year. Raleigh. Oh, we're having a boozy book tour in Raleigh. It's going to be it's focused around paranormal romance and sci-fi comic books and all that stuff, but it's going to be romance there as well and all other genres. But if we're trying to get spaces at each event to certain genres that don't really get pushed a lot. So that's our thing. So in 2026 we're gonna have like a IR multicultural big ass thing in Denver for
Ooh.
2026 because they don't get the acknowledgement they should. So just gonna have multicultural authors and IR authors. There won't be nothing else but that.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, so that'll be in Denver in 2026. Tickets are on our website. If you look in my bio, it's in our website. Yes, Posey, we've realized that even though y'all come to our events and y'all support us, and we want to make sure that y'all get y'all flowers as well. So so but now now that we know what's going on for so far for 2025 so far, what else can we expect from you? Are there going to be any more collabs? Are there going to be any more ciphers? Any more, I don't know, crazy besides Santa Claus, Miss Santa Claus, and Saint Nick? What is it going to be any more that we should be looking out for?
Um, as far as the ciphers, I'm not sure yet. I'll check on that one and get back with y'all.
Okay.
Um, collabs. I'm not. I don't do as many collabs as I used to. Oh, Kaylin said there will be more ciphers.
Oh,
So there you go.
okay. Okay.
um, and I'm not sure yet about the collabs though because I mean I don't really do too many collabs. I mean it's just kind of like I just kind of look at my schedule to see what I've got going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always up for a collab though. So
Mm-hmm.
if there's any authors in here,
I heard that. I would love to see you and Posey do one.
oh Posey's awesome.
I know. I know. I would
Posey is
love to see
awesome.
you and Posey do a collab together. I swear to God. Do like a mafia billionaire something.
See, and I've got a billionaire book that I'm working on with a billionaire investment banker. Um, just to kind of see how that comes out. So yes, I would definitely be up for that.
Even a biker club. I would love to see. The more black
Ooh,
biker clubs I could get and interracial biker clubs I could get, the better.
okay, let me look at that.
Not enough black
That's a good
authors writing
idea.
bike clubs.
I agree. We sure don't.
It is not enough. Not enough. I cannot. Not enough female bike clubs and not enough male bike clubs. I need them both.
Now, how do you feel about the cowboy books, though?
Hell
Somebody told me back in 2016 to write a cowboy book, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do that. Never did.
yeah. Look, let me tell you something. This is all I've been asking for, and I'm gonna give you my list.
Okay.
Let's start with paranormal.
Okay.
All I asked for was a hood, urban, fae, and gargoyle book.
I
And
can do
I
that.
don't mean fae like, oh, they're so pretty type thing. I'm
No.
talking about with tattoos, grills in their mouth, and temperance. I want a gargoyle book so bad because my favorite cartoon is Gargoyles, and all I want to do is see a Goliath. That's it.
I can do that.
Now, when it comes to sci-fi,
Mm-hmm.
I want an alien romance, not Nikki Clark, because Nikki Clark is one of my favorite when it comes to alien romances.
Mm-hmm.
I want an alien romance where it's just something I've never seen before, just out of this fucking world. Aliens that you would never thought of, type deal, but they only like black women.
See, I've got an alien book. I think it's about 6K that's on my that's on my hard drive that I started on a couple years ago and just kind of left it because I started doing something else.
Now,
But that's a good one too.
so
Dang, don't like that.
supernatural. I want a vampire book
Mm-hmm.
mixed with hoodoo, not voodoo, not African religious anything.
Mm-hmm.
Hoodoo, vampires, and basically running the world.
I
Type
like
deal.
that.
And they up against dragons.
I like that.
It don't have to be wolves because everybody write wolves. Everybody
Everybody
write
white rules.
shifters and all this. I want dragons and vampires and hoodoo in a mix of everything. That is, I love how stories get. I'm serious. Now, as far as psychological thrillers,
Mm-hmm.
I want something that is unexpected. I don't want the typical he is in the corporate world. I don't want him being bullied as a kid type deal.
Mm-hmm.
I want the most random person, a woman or man or both, being worse than a Joe, a Dexter, and a Hannibal Lecter. All rolled into one psychological thriller. And not the police trying to get them, not the FBI or the CIA. I want something that is like Interpol, Russian KGB
See,
type,
I like that.
you know, because
I
America
like
can't
that.
even touch them. So now it's like an international type deal.
I like that. That's me right there.
That's the type of psychological thriller I want. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and it has blood and gore, and it's just a mixture of psychological thriller, suspense, and horror all wrapped up into one.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what I want. Now, cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like historical fiction in the sense that um it's inaccurate. I know it's fiction, but when it comes to slavery and shit like that, mm-mm. Let's not be inaccurate about the shit, okay?
Right.
But
Right.
I do like westerns. I love cowboys, especially urban cowboys. There's nothing wrong with cowboys that were back in the day. But baby, I'm 40.
Mm-hmm.
46. I don't give a shit about what happened back then. I need a cowboy
Right.
that is on Beyonce Cowboy Carter type level.
Okay.
I need an urban cowboy that he is from Mississippi out. I'm talking about the deep gump, the deep everything, and he is from that, and he literally has a family of like Dallas, but black,
Okay.
like
Okay.
Dallas, but that black but hood. It's
Okay.
not oil. It's I don't know. It could be from the cotton fields. Instead of their family was in the cotton fields and now they run cotton and stuff like that. It was taken over by black people. Something. I don't know.
Now you know down in Alabama they got more than just cotton. They got peanuts too.
Yeah, it could be that. It could
So
be peanuts. It could be
they got
cotton.
cotton. They got
It could be
peanuts.
hemp.
Yeah.
It could be all those things. But they took it from the people that had enslaved them, and now they are generational wealth. And now the people that in the town around them is trying to take it away from them because they hate it because they black. Because they're surrounded by sundown towns. I don't know, something like that. Something like that. But add a
I just got
little
that whole storyline in my head. I
just add a
like
little
that.
romance to it. And then you have what was the other one we was just talking about? Oh, MC clubs. I am president of a bike club.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see a lot of
Okay.
female bike clubs. You know, I said I only seen Virgo Girl who did it, and Jaquel, she did it. But I don't see a
Mm-hmm.
lot of black bike clubs. I would love to have something. That's why I said I would love for you and Posey come together and hit us with interracial meets urban. Bam, bike club. That and
I like
some
that.
like y'all make your own Sons of Anarchy but black.
Okay. I
That
can
that's
see that.
that's what I want. And as far as let's see, urban fiction, y'all doing good with that. y'all doing good. Y'all doing good with that.
When in doubt, you can always write an urban fiction.
But that's what I that's the type of books that I'm looking forward to. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard, and I understand as authors, people, a lot of readers don't understand there's a bias that happens. White authors get away with so much more than a black author. I don't even give a damn if you're an
They
author that
really
write
do.
interracial romance. You still can't get away with half of the shit they do. And I love some white authors. I read them, but the stuff that they put in their books, you would never be able to get away with
Mm-hmm.
because you'll get criticized more. Unfortunately, so
I
I
agree.
just I just
I
wish
agree.
I just want y'all to go harder because it's some of us like even with dark romance. I'm not a dark romance girly, but I have friends who are, and they just want that. Oh, just go for it. You know what I'm saying? But y'all hold back because of that. Like I would want a erotica
Right.
fo-
Right.
that's focused on because I'm in BDSM, so I would want a black erotica focused on the black BDSM because there's a difference. There's black BDSM and there's white BDSM, and white BDSM is the one that mainstream knows about. Black BDSM
Mm-hmm.
is the one that nobody knows about, except unless you're
Mm-hmm.
in a black person in that lifestyle. So I
Mm-hmm.
would love a book focused
Yep.
on black BDSM erotica. So yeah, that's my two
I
cents.
like that too. Those are all good ideas.
But that's us as readers,
Oh.
we have so many things that we would want to happen. We just don't want to step on y'all toes and say, hey, what about this idea?
Mm-hmm.
What about that idea? Because we don't want to step on your toes because we understand there's a space for readers and there's a space for authors. Some people don't, but majority of us do.
Mm-hmm.
We do understand. We know to stay in our place and enjoy what you give us. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. And that's
yeah,
cool. I love
yeah,
hearing what readers would like for us to write. I love that. So
yeah.
I'm definitely gonna get started on a couple of those too now.
Well, I'm happy that you take those ideas and run with it because, God damn it, I swear, I just want my gargoyle goddamn book. Chat, just give me my damn gargoyle. That's all I'm asking. Because it's people like Tessa Stone, Nikki Clark. They give me these books, but even Solar Black, they give us these paranormal books and sci-fi books and these supernatural books, but it's not a lot of them. We get
Mm-hmm.
psychological thrillers. We have Octavia Grant. We have you. You have Caitlin Hunt. We have so many people who write them, but they don't push it like they should because they're so stuck
Right.
on the Stephen
Right.
Kings and stuff like that. So, and then we have so many horror authors like E. Bowser, Sylvester Bartsey. They write horror, like straight horror, and zombies and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear too much
Mm-hmm.
about them, but we will showcase everybody else but ourselves.
Right.
So I'm hoping that whoever's on here
I
take
agree.
my ideas and run with it. Just run with it. You ain't got to put me in no acknowledgement. I don't even give a shit. I just want the book. That's all I want.
Oh.
So that's all I'm saying. Now Nina K. Fox has a gargoyle, but is it hood? Is it urban? This is the kicker. I've seen a lot of gargoyle books, multicultural and white, but I ain't seen. Hear me out. That black hood, because Goliath was a nigga. I don't give a damn what nobody say. That's a black man. So I want that. Just saying, you can't be that thick and big and be other than black.
Right.
I'm just saying. But so tell everybody where they can find your books and how they can get in contact with you if needed for like interviews or just to tell you about a book they read from you. So please give them that information.
Okay. So I'm on all platforms at Fatima underscore Munroe. You can also email me at fatima.munroe at gmail. Um, let's see. Or you can also get my books from Amazon. I think I have a couple books on iBooks. I think I have a couple books on Lulu. Um, and I have a website, I think. I'm just not on it that often. And that's monroepublications.com.
Do you have a Facebook group?
Yes, Reading with Fatima
Okay.
is my Facebook group.
All right. So I want to say thank you for taking the time out to speak with me. And I am looking forward to the continuation of my Santa Clauses. That's what I'm saying. And I hope you do do a collab with Posey Parks. And I'm looking forward to your cipher because y'all did that. Y'all did it. So I I
Thank
just want
you.
I just want to
Thank
commend
you.
you on being so talented and just a sweet person. And I look forward to reading more of your books.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I do appreciate you.
No problem. So on that note, ladies, I'm out of here. I will be live later on tonight because I need a break from reading. But I'll be on here later on tonight. So be looking out for that live. But talk to y'all later. Bye bye.